Say North Carolina. We talked about North Carolina Governor Josh Stein making that announcement. 1 year mark since Hurricane Helene made landfall. He is at the podium now. Sarah, let's go ahead and take him.
Pleased to be here with Secretary Joey Hopkins, who is in his last week of the job. So he is the happiest man here by far. It's incredible to think how much work you have helped to oversee and lead your team to accomplish in the past year. And Joey, we're all incredibly grateful for your service. He wanted to quit when I took office, and I said, you can't. And he did me the favor of staying on a number of months, and we're all really grateful. Really pleased that our incoming Secretary of Transportation, Daniel Johnson, is here. Daniel, we got a lot of work to do, you and me, and I know you're up to it, and grateful for your service. Also joined by DOT Board Chair, Tony Lathrop. It's good to have our partner, our federal Highway Administrator Sean McMaster here today, and we look forward to hearing his remarks. He gave us some awesome news this week. $1.15 billion from the U.S. Department of Transportation to help repair North Carolina's roads. Thank you, Sean. These dollars are going to make a big difference in moving this effort forward across the region. We'll let him get into more details, but obviously our partnership with the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration, is critical to our ultimate success. We're joined by USDA Forest Service Supervisor James Malonis. James, thank you. It's through his partnership that we're able to get all this aggregate to the project in the most efficient way, safest way possible. Two excellent partners from the General Assembly I see, Representative Eric Ager and Senator Julie Mayfield. Any other legislators? General Assembly has been a critical ally, and I met and saw a number of local officials, and we are grateful for your work as well. Today, this weekend, is an emotional time. We're 1 day shy of 1 year since Hurricane Helene swept through western North Carolina, and that storm's devastation turned millions of people's lives upside down, and the impacts continue to ripple through this day. 108 lives were taken from us. Their families will grieve their absences to the end of their days. Tens of thousands of folks lost their homes. Thousands and thousands more lost their businesses or their livelihoods. Folks became totally disconnected. No communications, no water, no electricity, no means to get from one place to the other. In the aftermath of the storm, heroes emerged, and the employees of the North Carolina Department of Transportation are among the best. Helene damaged 9,400 sites along roads and bridges, and the damage forced 1,450 complete road closures. Over 1,400 roads completely shut down. This section of I-40 on the Pigeon River Gorge was one of the roads that we had to close. NCDOT and its contractors worked through the winter to stabilize 10 separate locations along this 4-mile stretch. Just getting the materials to the location posed a challenge even before the rebuilding could begin. Yet despite those challenges, on March 1st, in only about 5 months, we reopened I-40. I'm incredibly grateful to the NCDOT engineers, mechanics, crews, and contractors for their incredible efforts. And as you can see all around you, construction on permanent repairs on I-40 are well underway. In the meantime, the interstate is open and keeping people connected. I'm glad we have this sound of traffic through this press conference, because it means people can get from North Carolina to Tennessee and places beyond. This project is truly a symbol of our greater recovery efforts, and we have many partners to thank for getting us to this point. The General Assembly, the North Carolina Department of Transportation, the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Federal Highway Administration, the National Park Service provided much-needed funding and permitting that is keeping this recovery moving forward. But by no means is I-40 our only transportation focus. In fact, just a year later, 97% of all state-maintained roads closed by Helene have been reopened. 97% of the roads. I'm so appreciative to our team at the Department of Transportation and their contractors. My team and I have sought to bring the same urgency, grit, and heart to the broader recovery effort. I've been pleased to work with our legislature to pass two separate bills in excess of $1 billion to address recovery needs, and we are putting those funds to work. Along with our nonprofit partners, our Western North Carolina Small Business Initiative granted awards totaling $55 million to more than 2,100 small businesses to help them get back on their feet. We've awarded nearly 50,000 scholarships and grants to students of our universities and community colleges. We've removed more than 16 million cubic yards of debris. Folks, that's equivalent to about 5,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Our small business infrastructure program is helping local governments rebuild sidewalks and stormwaters so that locals and tourists alike can come back to downtown and enjoy and shop at our small businesses. In June, the First Lady and I were out here launching the state's new tourism campaign, Western North Carolina, Rediscover the Unforgettable. The people and places of Western North Carolina truly are unforgettable. I want to reassure folks out here, we have not forgotten you and we will not forget you. We have a lot more work to do, and I'm grateful for every federal dollar that the state has received, but to be frank, it isn't enough. The average federal contribution to a state after a major storm as a percentage of the total damage is about 50%. To date, North Carolina has received 11%. I'm calling on Congress to pass a new $13.5 billion appropriation to send more support our way. The people of Western North Carolina deserve their fair share. I was in D.C. last week meeting with the administration and Congress, making this case. It's about helping people get back in their homes, small businesses get back on their feet, and roads getting restored for the long haul. In this work, the people of Western North Carolina are our inspiration. If the federal and state governments can bring the same urgency and determination that the people of Western North Carolina have showed, we will get this done. So let's do it. Let's keep at this work, and together let's build a safer and stronger Western North Carolina. I want to thank you, and I'm pleased to invite Administrator McMaster. We welcome you to North Carolina. You are welcome anytime, but you are especially welcome when you have $1 billion check.
Hey, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm here on behalf of President Trump, Secretary Duffy, as part of the department's efforts and the promise to help rebuild I-40. I'd like to thank Governor Josh Stein, NCDOT, Secretary Joey Hopkins, incoming NCDOT Secretary Daniel Johnson, the U.S. Forest Service, and everyone joining us here today. From day one, the Trump administration has put safety first, and the president is committed to leaving no state behind and getting America building again. You can see our dedication reflected in our frequent visits to North Carolina. Back in February, on one of his first trips, Secretary Duffy traveled to assess the damage that Hurricane Helene caused along I-40 in North Carolina and Tennessee. He said this trip impacted him deeply, noting that when one part of our country hurts, our nation hurts. He made it clear that rebuilding I-40 was one of our chief concerns, and we took that to heart. Deputy Transportation Secretary Bradbury was down here earlier this month because the administration believes in the power of getting boots on the ground. Our presence here today is a reflection of our commitment to all of you. We are here today because Secretary Duffy just announced an additional $1.15 billion for the North Carolina Department of Transportation to help with Hurricane Helene recovery. This is the largest single allocation of emergency relief funding that has ever been allocated to one state in the department's history. The FHWA also provided more than $500 million in quick release emergency relief program funds, including $350 million to the North Carolina Department of Transportation. Combined, North Carolina DOT will receive a total of nearly $2 billion to help with the hurricane recovery effort. Thanks in part to this funding, the North Carolina DOT was able to reopen one lane in each direction on I-40. The Tennessee DOT also completed similar repairs. We know how crucial this roadway is for travel and commerce, and we're doing everything we can to get it reopened fully as quickly as possible. I-40 is a vital interstate that allows people and goods to travel across Asheville and western North Carolina through the mountains of eastern Tennessee. From families taking road trips to large freight trucks, the impact of I-40 travel has been felt throughout North Carolina. I cannot overstate the impact, which is why fully reopening I-40 is a top priority for U.S. DOT. Under Secretary Duffy's leadership, the FHWA partnered with the U.S. Forest Service to quickly clear legal barriers so North Carolina could access construction materials from Pisgah National Forest instead of 20 to 50 miles away. And now that decision is paying off right behind us. As crews prepare to pull rock from just down the road, this cut costs and time by nearly 2/3, saving taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars. My thanks to the U.S. Forest Service for working with us to expedite this work, to reconstruct I-40 as quickly and effectively as possible. In addition, aggregate industry leaders delivered aggregate from temporary repairs, which included restoring one lane in each direction on I-40. They also provided aggregate for the causeway constructed to aid in the permanent repair of I-40. This is what real results look like: cutting red tape, saving time and money, and delivering for North Carolina families. But it's not just I-40. The Trump administration is committed to accelerating project delivery across the nation as we work to get America building again. Under Secretary Duffy's leadership, we're moving at lightning speed to deliver results for the American people. In just the first 9 months, the department has cleared roughly 90% of the 3,200 project backlog we inherited, delivered more than 2,000 projects worth roughly $31 billion, launched 52 deregulatory actions, cutting 600,000 unnecessary words, put President Trump's executive order into action, killing unnecessary regulations and unleashing prosperity. I want to thank you for inviting me to speak to you today. We share a common interest in ensuring that our nation's transportation system is as robust as possible. I look forward to our continued work together. Thank you. And now, let me turn it over to our next speaker, Forest Supervisor James Malonis.
You were just listening to Sean McMaster, who is the Deputy Chief of Staff for the Department of Transportation, and he followed North Carolina Governor Josh Stein. The big news that we just heard in that press conference is that the U.S. Transportation Department is now announcing that they will be giving $1.15 billion to North Carolina's DOT in additional emergency relief funding for Hurricane Helene repairs. That's huge for the state of North Carolina, which was hit arguably the hardest out of that storm a year ago this weekend. That storm hitting land today last year, but North Carolina tomorrow last year. And so big news there, as you heard from Governor Stein saying that, hey, 97% of roads that were closed because of the storm have now reopened, but they still have a lot of work to do in their recovery process. But certainly that $1.1 billion will go a long way in helping that.